Hello Maureen, how are you?
Oh, salut Steven. Bien et toi?
Excited. Have you seen what's happening next month?
Non? Quoi?
The Irish Readathon's back.
Ah, super! Ça veut dire qu'on aura une nouvelle occasion de lire plein de livres sur l'Irlande ou d'auteurs irlandais? Oh, c'est chouette! J'avais tellement hâte que ça reprenne cette année. Mais par contre, cette année, est-ce que le challenge sera à nouveau organisé par les mêmes personnes?
Well, Leanne and Aoife are hosts once again, and they've got a new recruit, Elaine, and I'm acting as liaison to the French community, so anyone in France who may have questions, who may not speak English, can ask me. And the Readathon, once again, lasts for the whole month of March.
Je crois que l'année dernière, il y avait quelques défis à relever. C'est toujours pareil cette année?
Yeah, there are 5 challenges. Wait, I have them written down here. So, we have read a book by an Irish female author, read a book by one of the host's favourite authors. We have Sarah Rees Brennan, Louise O'Neill or Marian Keyes. Read an Irish book that isn't a novel, and read an Irish book that is older than you. Finally, read a book that is with green on the cover. And yes, any one of those is good enough and completes the challenges.
Ok, d'accord. Alors attends, je les note aussi. Donc tu as dit 1. Lire un livre d'une écrivaine irlandaise. 2. Lire un livre écrit par un des auteurs préférés d'une des organisatrices. Donc Sarah Rees Brennan, Louise O'Neill ou Marian Keyes. 3. Lire un livre irlandais qui n'est pas un roman. 4. Lire un livre irlandais plus âgé que toi, donc qui a été publié avant ta naissance. 5. Lire un livre avec la couleur verte sur la couverture, même s'il n'est pas irlandais. Pouh, bah dis donc, ça me donne plein d'idées et franchement j'ai super hâte de commencer, je crois encore plus que l'année dernière.
Me too, I'm so excited. Only a few more days.
Et je sais pas ce que tu en penses, mais pour pas s'arrêter là, ça serait cool qu'à la fin du mois, on se retrouve tous ensemble, nous deux et puis les participants, autour peut-être d'un live sur YouTube, comme un club de lecture, ou si ça ne fonctionne pas sur YouTube, peut-être un endroit où on pourrait écrire, bref, où on pourrait échanger tous ensemble pour parler de toutes nos découvertes du mois de mars. Qu'est-ce que tu en dis?
I love that idea.
Ok, bon bah on se retrouve dans quelques semaines pour faire bilan alors.
Sounds perfect. Yeah. Just don't forget, happy reading and hashtag the Irish Readathon on social media. Well, I guess it's time for us to choose some books for this readathon. Let's go! Okay, so now that I've taken all the books off the shelves, I guess it's time to go through them. So I have already gone through them a little. I've divided them up into 2 categories. 3 categories. The books for the challenge, the books to read if I get through the challenge books, and then there's a pile of all the other books here, and if I get through all of these, which you can't see but I'll show you in a moment, we'll see what I do. Okay, so firstly I have 4 books here, which are the books for the challenges. I don't have any books by the 3 authors that were named as the favourite authors by the hosts, so unfortunately I can't complete that challenge. I do have Irishology by Ronan Moore, which is going to be the book with green on the cover. I believe this has enough green on the cover. I am going to be reading Proverbs and Sayings of Ireland. This is not a book, as the title says. It's just lists of proverbs and sayings. So I will be reading through this as the not a novel book. This one here is a book written by a female Irish author. So this is Wildflower Girl by Marita Conlon McKenna. I really liked the first book in this series when I read it last year. And yeah, here's number 2. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be just as interesting as the first one to read. And now to remember what the other challenge was. Oh yes, to read a book that is older than you. This was published in 91. That's what I thought I remembered. Yep. So I'm born 95. So this book is older than me. And the first edition of this book is even older, but the book itself is older than me. Okay, so those are the books for the challenges. So that's 4 of the 5 challenges completed when I read those. Good. Now to move on to some other books that I put on the side to read. Now this will look ridiculous, but I have planned to read 208 books this year. And to read 208 books in the year, I need to read 18 books in every month. So all of these books, if I get through those, are by Irish authors. I put them aside so that I can easily pick up the next book and continue reading. So let's go through those books, and I guess you can take these as recommendations. Even though I haven't read them, it gives you an idea of some Irish authors that you might be able to find a book by, or maybe have a book by one of these authors at home, but you maybe didn't know that they were Irish. So we have Fields of Home by Marita Conlon McKenna. Same author as just before. This is book 3, so if I finish book 2, I can move on to book 3 as well. I have The Freedom of the City by Brian Friel. This is a play, so this is also actually a different type of book, but it's also nice and short and, well, should be interesting to read. I mentioned these 3 last year. These are Windlord, Earthlord, and Firelord by Michael Scott. This is a trilogy. I mentioned last year that it should maybe have been a tetralogy, but I don't think book 4 ever came out. I want to read these for the same reason as I wanted to read them last year. It seems to be the series that led the author to write The Secret of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel. There are similarities in here from what I can see at the back from what I read on the first book, and yeah, should be interesting. If you look at other clips of parts of this video, you might notice that on the top shelf, with those shelves there are loads of little black books and also these little blue books. So they're the Little Black Classics and the Modern Classics by Penguin. And I looked through them and I found that I have a few of them that are by Irish authors. So I have A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift, Lord Arthur Saville's Crimes by Oscar Wilde, Only Dull People Are Brilliant at Breakfast by Oscar Wilde, W.B. Yeats, and it's called A Terrible Beauty is Born, Samuel Beckett, The End, and Patrick Kavanagh, The Great Hunger. So those are all nice and short, and I thought I'd put them in there especially because, well, they're nice and short. If I want to get through that many books in the year, also because I want to read as many of those possible this year as well, I might as well have them in here to read. Next we have Zugzwang by Ronan Bennett. Now, the name of the book kind of threw me off as to thinking that it might be by an Irish author, but when I looked it up, actually, yes, the author is Irish, even though the title is in German. Yes. Well, Zugzwang means when you are forced to make a move in chess. So, yeah. I don't remember what this is about exactly. I like the title. It's a word I quite like. And I do remember finding it interesting when I read about it. I'll be able to tell you more at the end of next month, probably. Yeah. Now, we have the Saga of Darren Shan. And these are the first 3 books in here. So I know nothing about these. But they're books I have heard about very often. So I'll give them a try and I'll find out more about them. Okay, Arthur Quinn and the World Serpent. Alan Early. I have books 1 and 2 of this series. I don't remember what they're about. That's great. Sometimes I get books and it takes a long time before I get around to them. But yeah. This is the next book, so. Now, this is one I believe I showed last year because I had to pick it up when I saw it. Celebrating 150 years of UCD writers from the university that I went to. And yeah, it's just basically information about various authors that went to my university. So I am definitely going to be reading this, and I look forward to finding out more about who went to my university and what they wrote, and maybe then after that pick up books by these authors. Yeah. Last but not least, we have Dublin Day by Day by Sean McMahon. This is a book that I showed off last year, a book that I'm very much interested in reading. It's a page per day for every day of the year, but the year in every case is different. And I just want to find out more about Irish history. So this is going to be really interesting to read. And that brings me through the pile of books that I might get around to reading this month, if I can. Well, this coming month, that is. And then, I mean, if that's not enough, I think I'm not going to run out of books. But yeah, so basically, there's all of those books, which I'm just going to put there on the side. And yeah, I hope that was interesting. We'll see. And I have something else that I want to show you. So, let's go. Now that we've gone through some of the books that I would like to read or get around to during the month of March, I thought it would be interesting to get my parents and my sister to pick a book to read during the month of March. And they've decided to do that. They've agreed. And yeah, let's have them in to talk about those books. Okay, so what's the book that you've decided on reading for the month of
I
March?
decided to read the original version of Samuel Beckett's En attendant Godot, because it was actually originally written in French, and that's in French. But there was actually another choice, but I probably think that mightn't be the best choice, even though that it's fantastic. I started reading this one in English. It was too difficult, since that's my third language, my fourth language actually, sorry. So I've chosen a German version, and I just show you it's an annotated version, and that's what it looks like. Well, I don't know if you can see it well. I'll just get a little closer. Oh, there. Oh. And basically I'm at page 204, but it takes that's about 500 pages probably that I've read. And now it will be quite difficult to read the book, because Stephen's books, they may not be opened. You have to read through the book like this.
You're just not allowed to open them up like...
Because
like the way you open them sometimes.
My books, wait, just let me get rid of these books. And my books, they are like this, where you can see that you read the book, that you lived through the book, that you've
absolutely demolished the spine.
No, it's just...
It's in... Oh!
No, but coming back to Samuel Beckett, yeah, that was the book that just was dropped. Coming back to Samuel Beckett, I've always wanted to read more Irish authors, even though that he probably lived most of his life in France, that he wrote probably his best stuff in French, but he was Irish, an Irish writer, and so Samuel Beckett, En attendant Godot, Waiting for Godot.
Yeah, cool.
Hello, this is the book that I have chosen. It's How the Irish Saved Civilization by Thomas Cahill. I've had it on the bookshelf for the last couple of years, not that long, and wanted to read it. I like reading history books. And the Dark Ages, however, is one period in history that I know very little about. So this seems to be an amusing account of how the monks travelled across Europe and saved civilization. Always heard about the island of Saints and Scholars, but wasn't at school in Ireland, so never really learned about it in detail. So I'm looking forward to this. I did look at a few pages a while back, and it definitely seems like an interesting read, and I like when there's humour involved. Cool. Okay.
Sounds interesting. I had heard about the monks from Ireland and them going around Europe, but apart from that I didn't really know much, so it should be interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Hello. So I thought that I'd read Fairy Nights by Michal McLemore. My mum had read it to me a long time ago, but I forgot the whole story. So I thought, why not read it again and learn more about Ireland? And yeah, so it's stories on ancient Irish festivals. So yeah.
And I read it last year for the Irish Readathon. It was very interesting to read. So I'm fairly certain that you'll enjoy it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you found that interesting. I am definitely really looking forward to taking part in the Irish Readathon. I will leave links down below to the host channels, to Maureen's channel, as well as my sister's Instagram and my dad's channel. So those links will all be down below. And I hope you have a great month of reading. And I will see you at the end of the month of March with a video on the last Sunday of March, which turns out to be the 31st, the very last day. So I will have a recap at the end of that video, hopefully, if I can fit it in, depending on when I film the video, on what I was able to read, or at least it'll be an update of sorts at the very end of the video. I also am going to be posting about the books that I found really interesting over the course of the year, not just this month, on my community tab on my channel. So every so often you can have a look there, and it'll probably be posted on a Sunday that I don't post a video. So yeah, you have that to look forward to. Let me know down below if you're taking part, what books you're planning on reading, and yeah. That's all from me. Bye.